Hey, what's going on guys? Butterbar here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Division 2 video. So, in today's video, the topic of today is actually not a new topic. I know a lot of people have been talking about this type of particular topic for the Division 2, and that is the topic of politics in the Division 2. Now, I know a lot of videos have been coming out giving different perspectives on what they think about politics in the Division 2, and I really wanted to give you guys my perspective of what I actually want out of the Division 2, because really, I don't want politics in my game. I am one of those types of people that I cannot stand politics, cannot stand, the way that people are going at each other left or right, and I definitely don't want to be having that in my game. I don't want to come home from work and get drowned in it no matter what game I'm playing. So from my perspective, that is me. To give you guys a little bit of background of me, I was in the military for 4 years. I was an Army officer. So in the military, they kind of teach you, you don't want to be political whatsoever in the military. Yeah, people have different political, leniences, whether that be left or right, but really they kind of teach you and they really trust in you to be apolitical. No matter who's in charge of, the military, who's in charge of the Oval Office in the White House, no matter what their politics are, you are following the leadership, the lead of the commander-in-chief. So to me, really, politics don't have any bearing. I really cannot stand it from my military time to now. I try not to let politics influence or infect any of the content that I give you guys. So I try to be, try to keep everything out of this video. But I wanted to give you guys kind of what was going on in my mind and give you guys what I want to see in the Division 2. Now, one thing I don't want to see is politics, and actually going back into the Division 1, I think the Division 1 did a really good job at being able to stay out of politics. It gave you a good sense of kind of what's going on in New York City, gave you a good sense of what type of factions you were fighting, gave you kind of backstory of who the leaderships were, what their motivations are, and really, as somebody that's going into the Division 2, somebody that is a fan of the Division, that is my biggest thing. That is the one thing I'm wanting out of my games is I want motivations. I want motives on why, the enemy factions, or what are the motivations of the JTF? What are things that are driving people to do things in the world, in the open world that I'm going into the different missions, the different factions I'm fighting? I want to know what my motives are, what are the JTF motives are, and I want to know what these enemy factions motives are. Now, I will say this, the Division 2 does not really do a great job of being able to describe to you what the motives are in the game. Now, when you load in, yeah, you get the motivations of what the JTF is wanting. Hey, there's enemy factions in Washington, D.C. We're wanting to retake, the Capitol, blah, blah, blah. But really, that is it. There's no other motivation than just, hey, we want to take back DC, we want to take back the Capitol, and that is it. So actually, when you're going into the world of the Division 2, you kind of just go into it blindly, really. You don't know exactly what is going on in the world around you. And when you run into the first faction, which is the Hyenas, as somebody that's going into it blind, not knowing what's going on in this game, the Hyenas, I was like, who the hell is this group? Who the hell are the Hyenas? What is their backstory? What are their motivations? Who are their leadership? What is going on in this game? And I think that's one of the things that I think, kind of going back to my other videos of, stories that that really need to be told in the Division 2, and a lot better. The campaign needed to be just a little bit better on the storytelling, but really the motivations, what is driving, what the Hyenas or the Outcasts or the True Sons or even the Black Tusk, that stuff needs to be expanded upon, because really, as going back to my military times, as a soldier, I need to know who I'm fighting, and I need to know why they're fighting me. I don't want to go into a conflict not knowing, who my enemy is and why they're fighting and why I am fighting them. I think that's the one thing as a soldier, that is one thing you don't want to go into war with. You don't want to go into a conflict where you don't know the reasons why you're fighting, you don't know the reason why your enemy is fighting, and you don't know what is going on. And I feel like with people that are wanting politics introduced in the game, I feel like that is just one thing I don't understand what is going on. I feel like right now we live in a very I don't know if it's I don't think toxic kind of describes the world that we live in, but I feel like we live in a world right now where politics kind of drowns everything. No matter what it touches, no matter what side you lean on, it just infects everything, and it makes people into just the worst possible things. And the one thing that I really hate is that there's people that are wanting to bring that infection, bring that toxicity of different political leanings, left or right, into a game that really, if you think about it in the Tom Clancy's type of storytelling, kind of thinking, one of my references being, The Hunt for Red October. If you have not watched the movie, The Hunt for Red October, starring, Sean Connery and one of the Baldwin brothers. I cannot think to my mind right now who the Baldwin brother is. But you kind of look at that video, you look at that movie and you watch it, and you can really tell there's not really, at least from my point of view, you don't really see too much of the politics in The Hunt for Red October. However, I will say that you do see some of the politics of a capitalistic society that we are to the communist society that Russia was during the time frame that Tom Clancy is talking about, or telling the story of Hunt for the Red October. And I guess if anything, that is as about as political as from what I'm seeing from Tom Clancy novels, is that he's taking the the U.S. values, the U.S. government, the values that we kind of live by, compared to other countries and what they live by, and what communist societies, I guess, kind of dictate in their society. And the reason, the motivations that the crew for the Hunt Red October, Sean Connery's character in that movie, what his motivations are for, and what is driving him to defect. I feel bad if you have not watched the movie, The Hunt for the Red October, Tom Clancy's movie and novel. I do apologize. Hopefully I didn't spoil it for anybody. But yes, Sean Connery's character is wanting to defect from the Soviet Union to the United States government, and that is just pretty much the whole thing of the movie, is what is driving Sean Connery's character in making this defection to the enemy side, being the United States, to compare to the USSR. So to me, really, when I look at the division, I don't want politics being introduced into this game. I feel like I know a lot of things, that whether you're watching other videos talking about, they hate that guns are in it, or they hate that you can't, raise a farm or whatever BS. I think there was even a review talking about Tucker Carlson that Layman Gaming did. To me, it drives me up a wall that people are wanting to bring this stuff into games. Really, I see games as just that, being that release, wanting to get away from the fire station, getting away from different calls that we run, whether it be fire or medical calls, and wanting to get into the role of a division agent, and wanting to live in this world and escape the one that I'm living in right now, at least when it comes to work-wise, and be involved in this, be involved in the atmosphere that the Division 2 does. And for people that are wanting to bring politics into that, wanting to bring politics that we are dealing with in real life into a video game, really annoys me, just because this is my escape. This is a lot of people escapes, from the real world, going into this game and being, kind of this secret agent, being this hero of the world that you can kind of have fun with, and just kind of explore and have fun with your friends more than anything. You're wanting to, have those values of saving the settlement, saving the survivors of this massive virus that taken over not only New York City but Washington D.C., and you're wanting to be that hero, wanting to bring back civilization. The one thing that I thought was kind of funny when the Division 2 got announced was this talk of a civil war. And that's kind of funny. You don't really, like back in the Division 1, you didn't really think about it as being a civil war of United States citizens fighting against each other with, different factions, being the Cleaners and all the other different factions in that. And this, it's pretty similar. There was talk initially in the Division 2 about it being a civil war, being, a story of civilization being, brought on the brink of a civil war type conflict with other different factions coming in. And now with the Black Tusk coming in, I do kind of have my own kind of Tom Clancy-ish type of thinking of what the Black Tusk motivations are, who is leading them, who's behind their invasion of DC. Because if you guys don't know right now, the president's missing. So I don't know if you guys have gotten to that stage of the game yet, but the president is missing, and I'm kind of thinking that he might be with the Black Tusk. I don't know if that is just my little thinking of the way that Tom Clancy novels go, but I think there is something behind the missing president, as well as the Black Tusk being introduced in this game. But again, that is one of the things that kind of drives players to Tom Clancy novels, to Tom Clancy lore, is that type of political story. The president's missing. For some reason, the Black Tusk was introduced. What's going on? What is the motivation of the president? What is the motivation of the Black Tusk? One thing I want to say this before I end this video and give you guys kind of a send-off of kind of what my whole discussion was about. So I was on the lookout for more lore of the Division 2. I was on the lookout for more information about what was going on in this game and wanting to have the drive, wanting to have the motivation on what I am doing in this game. One of the things that was actually introduced by Ubisoft and Massive was a book on sale called The World of Tom Clancy's The Division. I actually bought this book. I bought it, I think on, what's today? Friday. I bought it on Wednesday, got it Thursday from Amazon. It was the fastest, pickup I've ever had from Amazon. However, this book tells you actually the backstories of all the different factions, all the settlements, everything that's happening in DC and also in New York City. So if you're somebody that, loved the Division 1 and wants to learn more about what happened in the Division 1, this book also tells you what is happening in New York City. But I loved it for the DC part. The DC part of the world of Tom Clancy's The Division tells you the factions, tells you the leadership of who the leaders are, tells you what the motivations are of these factions and why you're fighting and why they are fighting you and trying to destroy things in Washington, D.C. So if you're somebody like me, you're wanting to know more motivations, you're wanting to know why the enemy is fighting you and why you're fighting them and why the settlements are the way they are and why people are trying to survive the catastrophic failure of our government in D.C. Because of this outbreak of the smallpox virus. It's actually a really good buy. I really do recommend it if you're somebody that wanting to know a lot more lore, a lot more of the things that's going on in the world of the Division. Definitely pick it up. It's one of those things that I really enjoy that I picked up, as well as too, I want to let you guys know that I want to do some readings from this book. Because if you're somebody like me and you want to know the motivations, you want to know more about the different factions in this game, I think I'm going to be doing some different videos that actually cover over some of the different motivations, the different lore that this game has through this book in different YouTube videos. But guys, really, the main topic I wanted to talk about and the one thing I wanted to get across is, look, politics needs to be out of this. I hated that people were talking about it. I'm glad that Ubisoft and Massive did a great job in being able to keep it out of the game. However, with Tom Clancy novels, there are different types of espionage type things, different things, different secrets that people have, and those type of things. My example of having the Red October type of surprises, I think would be great for the Division. But however, politics in the real world, what we are dealing with, just has no standing, has no bearing being in the Division 2, and I'm really happy that they did a great job. Massive did a great job of being able to keep that out. So thank you guys, again, being able to keep out some of that frustration that we have in the real world out of this game. So guys, at everything, I know it was kind of a long, drawn-out video. I appreciate you guys sticking around. You've actually been watching some heroic control point action in this. So if you guys have stuck around with it, that's what you guys are watching. But I want to know in the comments below, what do you guys think about politics and video games? What do you think about more lore being added to the video games? And what do you think about wanting to know more about motivations of not only the leadership, the different leadership factions, type of thing in this game? If you want to know a lot more, definitely buy the Division book, or the book to the Division. It was definitely a lot of great information, and I really do enjoy the purchase that I have. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please drop me a like. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about politics and video games and wanting to know more lore and more info about a game. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys all next time.